Henry Kissinger famously quipped, "No one will ever win the battle of the sexes. There's too much fraternizing with the enemy." I think he's right, but in recent years, the battle has grown far darker and the sides more deeply entrenched. In fact, according to the data, there is less fraternizing with the enemy now than in the past. This is especially the case among young adults. After rising for decades, there is now a significant decline in the amount of premarital sex among teens and young unmarried adults. This is not because of a spiritual awakening or a moral revival. In fact, surveys indicate that as far as beliefs about premarital sex are concerned, today's young people are far more permissive than any in American history. Yet their behavior seems to indicate otherwise. So what's up? Well, sociologists cite several factors, but a big one is that young men and young women are moving in different directions ideologically. This is true politically, but also just in terms of how they think about the opposite sex. Both young men and young women are increasingly skeptical, even cynical about each other's motivations, and their level of trust in the other is steadily decreasing. It seems that each side in the battle of the sexes believes that the other is up to no good and only out for themselves. Sadly, their instincts about this are not necessarily off the mark. Without the redeeming influence of Christ in our lives, men and women will tend to use each other in selfish ways. This is why more than ever, we need to bring up our children in the nurture and admonition of the Lord, to teach them that men and women are not different from each other, but that we're different for each other. As Paul says in 1 Corinthians 11, verses 11 and 12, "Nevertheless, in the Lord, woman is not independent of man, nor man of woman. For as woman was made from man, so man is now born of woman. But all things are of God." Marriage is God's design for the lifelong, fruitful union of husband and wife. Dating should be viewed as a means toward that end. And no one in a dating relationship should take advantage of the other, emotionally, physically, financially, sexually, or in any way. To do so is to violate a trust that goes well beyond the individuals involved and actually contributes to the overall breakdown of societal attitudes toward the opposite sex. Kissinger was right, at least in this much. No one will win the battle of the sexes because, by God's design, this bifurcation of humanity into male and female was not intended to be a battle of one against the other, but a joining together of allies in a battle against the evils that this world can bring to bear against us. Let us then learn to value what the other brings to the table and learn while we are young and unmarried to sacrifice our selfish interests for the good of all and ultimately for the glory of God.